If you have any questions subsequently to the webinar and you'd like to get some more information, please send us an email at peter@essbiztools.com.au or telephone us at 0747241118. Today the subject is an introductory to ESS BIZTOOLS, and particularly we'll be concentrating on business advisory services. So what we're going to cover is what's included in ESS BIZTOOLS, the products and tools that make up this product, business advisory services, because that's the key non-compliant services that we're able to offer to assist accountants to offer a suite of non-compliant services. We have a newsletter, Business Plus newsletter, which is produced every month by January. We'll have a look at one of those, the May issue. Client mentoring and coaching is our education product to assist accountants to educate their small, medium enterprise clients on the types of services that accountants can offer to add value to a small, medium enterprise. Leadership has been coordinated by Leadership Academy, the CEO of which is Peter McDougall, ex-colonel in the Australian Army, who for the last 20 years has run a specialist leadership training academy, primarily concentrating on government and big business. But we convinced Peter to write some material for small, medium enterprises on leadership, and these modules, 9 of them, are included within ESS BIZTOOLS. We also have 35 seminars or webinars prepared, ready for use by accountants to help communicate with their clients, and we will then have a run through these 480 papers that are within ESS BIZTOOLS that are targeted at small, medium enterprises. All you have to do as a subscriber is put your name and address and logo on the papers, and you can send them to your clients. And for every paper there's a set of PowerPoint slides. We'll mention ESS Biz Grants. That's our sister product. It's available on a separate website, and it is part of the package for a gold subscriber to ESS BIZTOOLS. So I mentioned the papers and the PowerPoint slides. There's also hundreds of forms with standard letters and templates, and there is various YouTube recordings that you can log on to if you wish to hear recordings of webinars. Incidentally, we are taping this webinar today, so you'll be able to access a copy of it through YouTube at the end of the webinar. What we've got on the screen at present is a chart explaining how the various components of ESS BIZTOOLS relate to one another. Our key products are business advisory services, the Business Plus newsletter, the educational material, which we call client mentoring and coaching, the leadership modules, ESS Biz Grants, which we're not covering today, but it is part of the gold subscriber webinar, and there are separate webinars on this week on ESS Biz Grants. In fact, the webinar is on Thursday the 6th of June at 12 noon on ESS Biz Grants. We have the papers that I mentioned before. There are 480 papers in 57 separate sections that accountants can badge and send to their clients. So those papers are targeted at small, medium enterprises. We have the 35 client seminars, and we have the various forms that are part and parcel of what's within ESS BIZTOOLS. Within the papers, there's also 50 papers in sections 500 to 599 that are exclusive for accountants. So they're papers that are talking about the philosophy of ESS BIZTOOLS, which incorporates some leading accountancy industry commentators' views on various matters. People such as Andrew Geddes and David Smith and Mark Holton from Smith Inc. 2020, Rob Nixon from Proactive Accountants, the writings of David Meister, and other people have really gone into formulating the material which we have available. So in business advisory services tools, we have in the first instance material to assist accountants to offer the business advisory services to their clients. And they're the introductory modules, which we'll look at when we go onto the website shortly. Within business advisory services themselves, there are 12 products that are prepared, ready for use. Some of them are listed on the screen there: business health check, budgets and cash flow forecasts, chief financial officer services, strategic business mentoring, cash flow management, business planning, buying a business, selling a business, succession planning. Now this material has been prepared on the basis of being supporting tools to save you having to spend hundreds of hours in writing material yourself so that you can offer these types of services to your clients. I ran an accountancy business for over 20 years and was very mindful of the need to have the products so that these type of services could be offered to small, medium enterprise clients. So what's within business advisory tools are papers, forms, system questionnaires, manuals for the client, but each of those modules also has a form to assist you to prepare the quotation, because our firm recommendation is that for all of this business advisory services work there should be a quotation with progress payments based around milestones having been achieved. We've also prepared a proposal or engagement letter because we had people asking us for it. You can edit it if you wish. There is a template there to assist you in preparing your own exclusive document if you wish. And there are final report templates. So we've tried to develop each business advisory services module as a standalone product, that it's there to assist accountants in offering a wider range of services for your clients. The Business Plus newsletter is targeted at small, medium enterprises, so when you get the newsletter you need to badge it with your name, logo, details, etc. You can add or delete material if you wish. Our surveys tell us that virtually no one does either, but you can add some articles if you wish. The newsletter is basically concentrates on small, medium enterprise matters. It's not full of taxation articles. In fact, when we interview small, medium enterprise operators, they tell us that they don't like receiving newsletters that are full of taxation articles. They think those articles are for the accountant to read, not for them to read. I know that's not quite right, of course, but that's what some SMEs tell us. But we've tried to restrict our taxation articles included in Business Plus to things that directly relate to the small business operator, knowing full well that you will communicate with them on the other more important issues. Client mentoring and coaching, there's 13 pre-prepared modules to assist in educating the client. I believe that as accountants we have to do a lot more to educate our clients on the type of services that we can provide them. Various surveys have been undertaken. MYOB have undertaken surveys for quite a number of years, various universities, and CCH released a few weeks ago a survey that they commissioned, which was concluded in April of this year. And all of these surveys are identifying additional services that accountants could supply to small, medium enterprise operators. But there's no guarantee that your client's going to want these services unless they have been educated into what some of them are about, and also that they've got an assurance and an understanding that you as an accounting firm are in a position to supply these services. Leadership, well, you could run a whole series and a webinar on leadership. Of course, leadership affects everything from accountancy, businesses, to each of your small, medium enterprise clients. There are 9 modules within ESS BIZTOOLS which will assist you to look at your leadership structure within your own organisations, and then will enable those of you who wish to use the material to mentor and advise your clients on leadership issues. There are 35 client seminars which also could be presented as webinars. These range from 1 hour through to 15 hours. The 15 hours we don't mean straight. They've been prepared in such a way that they would be presented in 5 3-hour segments, but again, that's up to you. The seminars or webinars are a great way to market your services to your accountancy market, and these days with firms having clients located all over Australia, running a webinar might be an ideal way to communicate with your clients so that they can understand the type of services that you are offering. There's more people joined us as we've been talking this afternoon. If you have any questions, can you please type your question in, and in the webinar jargon raise your hand, and I'll try to respond to the questions at the end of the webinar. If you think of questions later on, please send us an email or ring us on 0747241118. I've talked about the papers. For every paper there's a set of PowerPoint slides. ESS Biz Grants is a standalone product to assist accountants to readily identify government grants that might be suitable for individual clients. You insert the basic profile of the client into the ESS Biz Grants cloud-based system, and it will do a sort of hundreds of government grants and give you a preliminary list of the grants that your client might be eligible for. You then need to go through and look at those grants just on the summary sheets that are available that come up on the screen, and you can decide whether your client might be interested in some of those grants, and you're then able to produce a final grant report. We do have a separate webinar on ESS Biz Grants this Thursday, the 6th of June, and if you go to the our website at ESS BIZTOOLS or at essbizgrants.com.au, you'll be able to register for that webinar if you're interested. So we're going to go and do a website tour now just to show you how everything fits together. Obviously we're trying to market subscriptions to ESS BIZTOOLS, and on the screen now you have our pricing structure. We have reduced prices because we're very much aware of the difficult trading conditions that are prevailing in all parts of Australia at present. So a 12-month subscription, which includes ESS Biz Grants, is $2,700 plus GST. We do have other levels of subscription, and they are summarised on the screen there at present. We would love to hear from you if you are interested in subscribing. Some of you have probably seen the or heard about the Deloitte report on digital disruption and the subsequent reports that CCH have produced on what they believe is happening in the market based on interviews with small business operators and accountants, and the information that was disclosed in a CCH Proactive Accountants webinar on the 7th of May. Obviously, some commentators believe that there are significant disruptions going to occur in the accountancy profession over the next 2.5 to 3 years. Some of those are probably evident there at present, with more work being sent overseas to be done by outsourcing, clients taking up technology at a faster rate than previously, especially cloud technology. CCH claimed that 14% of small medium enterprises are now using cloud technology, and they expect that percentage to increase quite significantly over the next couple of years. There's some stories that accountants based in Asian countries are now sending ethical letters to accountants in Sydney and Melbourne to take over those clients' work. What's all this mean for the accounting profession? Well, what our view is that some of these changes, some of this lower level work being either done by the clients, or you might be looking at outsourcing, or it's been done by bookkeepers, should be freeing up time to enable a wider range of non-compliant services to be offered to clients. And that's where ESS BIZTOOLS comes into play. We have the products to assist you to help clients to add value to their businesses, not just by doing tax returns. So when you click onto our website and you go to products, you then have the various products, as I showed you on the chart earlier. The small business advisory package is for training organisations. They use some of the material to train small business operators. But if we go into business advisory services, you have on the left-hand side with the grey background the products which we've included to help prepare you to offer business advisory services. There are 9 modules there covering things like team training, leadership, marketing, review of products, use of the SME needs analysis, selection of products that you're going to offer. We have a seminar to help you launch business advisory services to about 20 of your clients, and how are you going to professionally sell business advisory services. Then on the right hand side we've got some of the products which we've included within ESS BIZTOOLS, and there's 2 other products to be added to that list in the next couple of weeks. One's on survival in difficult times. We had that as a workbook within ESS BIZTOOLS. We've updated the status of it to a business advisory services product, because obviously there is a lot of problems out in the marketplace with small medium enterprise operators. And we've split, if any of you have been to any previous webinars we've had within cash flow management, we had been including debtors and stock work in progress. We've split the debtors into debtors management and to a SME debtors system manual, which we'll show you in a little while. So if you go to, we'll just pick on one of the preparation products. When you first go to an ESS BIZTOOLS area, you will find an executive summary to tell you what is in a particular area. And we need to download the document so that you can view it. So what we're going to get now is the SME needs analysis. We're not going to go completely through this document, but we'll hopefully give you enough of an insight into it so that you can get an idea what's included. So first of all, there is a summary, a paper, which explains what has to be done to use the SME needs analysis. And then there's the questionnaire for the SME needs analysis, and there's also a business evaluation workshop checklist. So the paper, in this case, it's in the 500 series, 500 to 599. Any papers with those prefixes are targeted at accountants. So I wouldn't give this to your client. And this is suggesting how you would use the needs analysis. It's based on a needs analysis prepared by Andrew Geddes a few years ago, and Andrew has given us his permission to update that document. So we have questions relative to how is the business, what's going on in your benchmarking, or what's going on with debtors management, human resources. So a range of questions to understand what's happening in the business at present. And what you're using this document for is a bit like a menu of services that your firm is able to offer. Does the client require any further services? What's going on taxation planning? And then we really get to the real meat. What's going on in the future? Does the client need a business plan? Do they need budgets? Would they like a business valuation? Are they planning to sell the business? How much does the client think the business is worth? What do you think it's worth? What's the valuation gap? What services could you then supply over the next 2 to 3 years to try to narrow that valuation gap? What's going on in wealth creation? What about risk management? Succession planning, a huge issue. Various commentators believe there's going to be over $1.6 billion worth of businesses change hands in Australia in the next decade as the so-called baby boomers start to retire. How much money they get for their businesses will really be determined on how much succession planning they've done. What other business improvement could you help them with? Then we have business advisory services, business health check, budgets, cash flow management, succession planning, all those issues that we talked about before. So what we might just do is go forward a bit. You can read all that material at your leisure. Right through our papers, we have them linked to other papers, so you can link to all these individual items that have been mentioned. And here is the SME needs analysis, which you could use with your client. Our suggestion is you make it available to the client. Let the client have it for a week or so before the meeting so that the client can think about, has the client got any questions? They understand how debtors' days outstanding are calculated. Have they thought about factoring or financing their debtors? Are their budgets and cash flow forecasts being updated? What's going on in human resources area? Have they complied with the Fair Work Australia requirements? Do they want an introduction to a human resources consultant who can properly review these things? What are they doing within customer area? Do they have customer surveys? Do they need some assistance on getting a customers advisory committee to function? What about government grants? Have they applied for any? Have they heard of some of their colleagues getting a government grant? Would they like to look at trying to obtain one? So now we're in future planning. What sort of questions have they got there? So you can see hopefully how this document is being used. It's raising a whole series of questions, which hopefully out of it the client will zero in on various aspects and say, that's what I want you to concentrate on. I want a succession plan. I want a new budget and cash flow forecast. I want risk management reviews undertaken. I want to review the finances of my business. I want a more regular appraisal of our business performance by really looking at the key performance indicators. I would like some what-if scenarios prepared, and so on. So that's the purpose of that document. What we're going to do now is just have a look at the products. On the product side, if we go first of all to debtors management, so there's the summary telling you what's in debtors management. Now, debtors, I believe, is the when it's combined with cash flow management, is the biggest single problem confronting small medium enterprises. I know the CCH report identifies cost control as one of the big problems for small business, but cash flow management, debtors, inventory investment are huge issues for a significant number of small business operators. So this is a template system to help an accounting firm to undertake a review of the debtors area. So we start everything off in this area with an outcome of one-on-one meetings, because we're suggesting after the seminar you have a one-on-one meeting with your clients to go through and identify the areas that they're concerned about. So we have a list of the system. We might just go into the documentation. There is a paper which gives a procedure. So in the first instance, there's a checklist to enable one of your team to go through and review what's currently happening within the business. The form links to other forms, so you might have asked the client, do they have an application to open an account with them? Here's a template that's been prepared. You could utilize that for the client if they don't have one, or you could edit it to suit the client's particular circumstances. The form asks them about have they got a personal director's guarantee form. Now this is a sample only, because obviously they should get their solicitor to draft this, but so that the client can be given something so he understands what this sort of documentation looks like. It is there for them to see. Have they got a form to welcome a new customer? Many small business operators do not have a system for their debtors. What we're suggesting here is that there should be a letter go back to each new debtor confirming that they've been offered credit by this firm. What's the credit limit? What are the payment terms? What are the requirements from the new customer for tax invoices and supporting documentation being forwarded to them? One of the real problems that small businesses have got in Australia is debtors days outstanding. It's currently 55 days according to the latest Dun & Bradstreet report. How could that have been reduced? 55 days on average. That will mean that some businesses have got debtors days outstanding of 80, 90 days. It's a huge figure. Within the system we have suggested follow-up letters that if a client hasn't got a debtor recovery procedure, there are forms there to assist them in following up. You can see we've got 5 letters. They might need that many. They might decide to take legal action long before that. We've included a form on how to calculate debtors days outstanding, and there is an example there so they can understand how the calculation is made. But we've prepared that on such a basis as that they can be calculating what they think their debtors days outstanding should be, the targeted date, what that would have made the debtors balance, and what is this missing figure, what is this cash amount that they need to recover so they can get back within it. And we've calculated a debtors reduction checklist which will help your clients to identify the amount of money that they need to collect in this month if they're going to try to get their debtors back within a targeted days outstanding. So they might have targeted, say, 40 days. They're currently on 56 days. What have they got to do, and who's going to go and get the money? And then they've got a record there they can keep as to, from these special clients, these ones that do owe them substantial sums of money outside their stipulated trading terms, what have they got to go and collect from them to be able to get their debtors back into an orderly basis. Then I just want to show you, we have in there, we have a debtors review questionnaire. So this is a detailed questionnaire that you could use at some stage within the system. You probably use this if it's a brand new client or you've never done a review of their debtors before. So there are detailed questions that are there for your team to be able to use to undertake this review of debtors. So that's how the debtors review works within the ESS BIZTOOLS system. The other one I just want to show you is the Debtor Systems Manual. This is a manual that you could make available to your client. It's been prepared because we wanted to have something within our system that that you could leave with the client if you've completed the debtors review, or you might edit this to make it comply with the particular circumstances of your client's business. But the key thing is that they will have a written system which gives them an overview of how the debtors system operates within their business. So we're suggesting there that you're going to put your name on this. So there's a bit of a note there for accountants. You would paired by XYZ accountants for ABC business. The system has a set of content, so you can see that the main headings here are a systems checklist, setting up an effective system, being diligent on the transactions, how they're going to monitor their debtors, debtors management, monthly debtors timetable, some ideas for staff training on debtors, and some cash flow management hints relative to debtors. And then some notes on discounting and factoring, debtors insurance. And then a systems review by your accountant. And then there's quite a number of addendums, which includes some of the matters which we've just looked at. But this is now in a nice manual that you can leave with your client. As I said earlier, edit it if you wish. So it's talking about what's going to happen to the director's guarantees. It's talking about the personal property securities register and what they need to do. So it's a document that takes them right through the operation of the debtors system. So hopefully that's giving you an insight into how we have approached the task of preparing modules for accountants to use And you can see all the other headings here. There's a whole range of them. Incidentally, we are starting to present individual product webinars later this month. So the first one's on Thursday the 13th of June, which is on the introduction to business advisory services. So that will be a 1-hour webinar just on that subject. And then on Wednesday the 26th of June, we're going to look at cash flow management, which is going to include the debtors management, SME debtor systems manual, and the cash flow management area. But we'll have to move on now to give you an overview of other matters within ESS BizTools. If we go to client mentoring and coaching, there are 9 modules within client mentoring and coaching, and this material is to assist accountants to educate their clients into the type of services. So if we log on to the first one, and that's in bright yellow because if you're a guest going to our site, and if you haven't already applied for a guest login, please do so at the end of this webinar. You can see this material that I'm on now as part of the guest login. So we've put together 40-odd papers on matters to do with purchasing or commencing a business, and we've then allocated them over 6 series, or mail outs, re-mail outs, and we're going to download the first one of these. What we're suggesting is that you have talked to a client or a prospect who is talking about going into business. You can indicate to them that you will send them some material to assist them in preparing themselves. Because we believe that you should be offering a chief financial officer type service to your client, but you need to make sure that your client has an understanding and appreciation of the services you're going to offer. We don't believe that a business that's currently paying $2,000 or $3,000 for a set of annual accounts and a tax return will readily agree to start paying you $12,000, $14,000, $15,000 a year because you're going to offer them a wider range of services. Unless you have given an indication, some training to the client so they understand what these new services are going to entail. And part of the exercise also is to make sure you're able to convince the client that you do have the team involved that will help you deliver those services. So the first thing we have here is we have a suggested letter that you could put on your letterhead to go to your clients, which talks about them starting or buying a business. Now you can prepare your own letter, but we think every dispatch should have a letter with it or an email with it explaining to the client what this is all about. And with each mail out there is a survey form. Now we'd suggest you badge that with your logo and name and send that to the client. You're very interested to know what the client thinks of this material. And our suggestion is that about 5 days after you've sent this, that you have an administrative person or a client support officer rings the client and inquires how they're going with this material. And hopefully they'll have some questions, and then your admin person can suggest that he or she will make an appointment for them to come and have a yarn to one of your accountants. Because unashamedly, we believe that business mentoring and coaching is there to help you to educate the client into the type of real accounting services that you can offer your client. So that's what that material's about. The module package then has the material that's included therein. So someone hasn't got to go looking through 480 papers trying to work out which paper's got to get sent. The half a dozen papers that are included in this series are located in this module. So you can see the addendum, and this is one of our papers. Incidentally, you would have badged your name and logo at the top of this. So there's a paper that you can go to your client explaining how a discretionary trust operates. A very experienced senior partner in a major accounting firm told me a couple of years ago this is his favourite paper. He gives it to everyone that's thinking about a trust and anyone that asks him a question about a trust, because we're trying to make sure that it explains all aspects of how a trust operates. So you can send PowerPoint slides to the clients if you wish, but that's up to you. I personally don't normally send the PowerPoint slides, but some people have asked for them. That's why we have them. So that is a quick overview of what is within mentoring and coaching. As you can see, there are obviously 5 more series to be sent to that client. If you had someone who's a bit more advanced, and probably straight after you've sent the first lot out, when you finish those 6 series, a couple of weeks later you might say to the client, how about we now send you introductory management and then experience management, because they are progressively building up on the knowledge that the client has got. And we believe, and the firms that are using this material have told us, that this type of service really assists in getting the client's mind clearly on what you as an accountant can provide as an accountancy firm, not just doing compliance work. The next area we want to go to is the Business Plus newsletter. Business Plus newsletter is produced each month. I'll just download the May edition. Now in May you get two extra editions. One on the federal budget as it affects small medium enterprise. We didn't have much to write about this year. It took 3 pages, whereas normally it takes about 6 pages. And we also produced last week the annual end-of-year tax planning, end-of-year tax checklist, end-of-year tax checklist that we produce, and it's available to our subscribers to send to their clients. The newsletter is uploaded to our website at about 12 noon on the 2nd Friday of each month, and all of our subscribers receive an email which tells them the newsletter is now available. So quite a number of firms around Australia are geared up on the afternoon of that 2nd Friday to badge the newsletter with their name and be ready to send it to their clients. So this is the newsletter. Our system tells you to delete our names and logo and put your own in there. We've included our logo because we send this to all the team members in a client's office. So 20 or 30 people might read this. We just want them to know who prepared it. But obviously when you're going to send it to a client, you delete the name. There's always an editorial article. You'll notice this is issue number 89. We've been producing this newsletter for 7 years. So it's had some modifications over that period of time. But we do have an editorial type article which is normally talking about the economy and the economic circumstances in which small businesses are operating. But at the end of virtually every article, we have a call to action. Very important. You're using this newsletter to try to encourage your SME clients to come and talk to you about something. So in this article here, we're obviously referring to current performance, budgets, cash flows. So if you've got any questions about any of those things, please come and talk to us. Because we are in difficult times, we've run an article on survival in difficult times. And again, if you want us to help you, come and talk to us. Know your unique selling proposition. if you'd like assistance in looking at your unique selling proposition, come and see us. That's what we're here for. We've been running a series on what's it mean, trying to demystify some of the accountancy and business jargon. And we always have a article on grants. This month we talked about a private enterprise grant run by the coal industry. It's now closed, but they allocate $15 million a year for research relative to black coal. Cost control is important. Now, we wrote that article because the CCH survey identified that cost control, as far as small business was concerned, was their major problem, and the 212 accountancy firms that were interviewed identified it as the third highest problem. So we wrote an article on that. Marketing's essential for SMEs. Obviously, we don't write the same types of articles. Then we're looking at the action plan prior to the 30th of June. And the previous month we looked at sales planning for the new fiscal year. This one we've obviously looked at cost control, cash flow management, and tax planning. And in this month of June, we've got a few other things which we're going to comment on. We always like to write an article like this one, knowing break-even helps, trying to give them some understanding of what some of these terms that you might use. And then we have this attention accountants. We suggest you delete this before you send the newsletter to your clients. But the purpose of this is to give you some supplementary reading if you want to about a particular matter that we've raised in the newsletter, so that if you have a client wanting to talk to you about break-even calculation or marketing or cost control, survival in difficult times, you might like to read some of the material that we've already prepared prior to a discussion with a client. So that's how the ESS newsletter, which we call Business Plus, operates. So you get a newsletter every month by January. If you want to, as a subscriber, you can go back and read past issues, which on this site we go back to issue number 51. If you wanted anything earlier than that, you have to contact us and we can send it to you. Don't forget, if you have any questions, please send them through to us, and we'll try and answer them for you. Client seminars. There are 35 client seminars within the system. There are different presentation times in brackets after each name. We've got the number of session and the suggested number of hours to be presented. The seminars that are numbered after 1,000 are all 1 hour seminars. So if we click on a profit-making seminar and we download it, within this module we are going to receive all of the information we need for this particular seminar. So what we're going to have here is some generic material which obviously applies to all 35 of the seminars or webinars, but then there's information that only relates to this seminar, so that you know what it is. So there's no chance of turning up to present a seminar or webinar and having the wrong information. So here's one of the generic forms. This is some general hints on presenting a seminar, which you could read. There's the next item is an explanation of that checklist. Then we got multiple registrations, venue, bookings. Then we have the information that just relates to this particular seminar. So this is a suggested news release that you would personalise to send to the media in your area. Now I know you won't get a news release published in a major capital city newspaper. There's plenty of free newspapers in all the cities, and obviously in the regional and country areas, there's a thriving media industry who seem to be very happy on presenting articles from accountants, particularly if they're small businesses. I've downloaded the paper now, so this is one of the papers that was going to be covered in the seminar. So the paper's there, it's ready to go, and we have the PowerPoint slides. So a bit earlier I said for every paper there's a set of PowerPoint slides. Well, this is obviously the PowerPoint slides that relates to this paper. The next area we want to go to then is in the library. We'll just show you the ESS papers. There's 57 sections through to number 270, which have all got papers in them. So if we wanted to look at operating a successful business, they're the papers that are within operating a successful business. So if you wanted to have a look at personal leadership, capacity and development, you first of all receive an executive summary or a précis on what's in that paper. You then download it, and you're going to get in this case the Word document. We could have gone to view and that would have given you the PDF, but that also has the links to other papers. So there's a paper. You would have badged it across the top with your name and details, so it's material that you can make available to your clients. Now obviously a lot of these papers are utilised in the other material that I've been showing you. And we now also can look at the PowerPoint slides. So that gives you an idea, hopefully, of how the PowerPoint slides operate. So that's the summary of ESS BIZTOOLS, how it works. Just going back, some of you joined us after we, I think, showed this slide at the very beginning. That's the relationship between the ESS BIZTOOLS papers and the various products that have been prepared to enable accountants to offer a range of services that includes non-compliance services for their clients. We believe that the recent publicity on digital disruption based on the Deloitte report and then the CCH survey have highlighted the very real challenges that are confronting accountancy businesses to look to providing a wider range of services to meet the challenges and to service the small medium enterprise market the way it wishes to be serviced.